Alright, this is John Colo with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have a very special treat for you. I've had a lot of customers ask for this and I'm finally able to do it. I'm going to be able to show you the differences between the Champ HP3A or Blendtec HP3A and the Vitamix Turbo Blend 4500. Both models, DiscountJuicers.com, we sell here at Discount Juicers. And there are some variations. One of the big questions I get, what's better, the Vitamix or the Blendtec or the k-tek, whatever you want to call it. Let me straighten that out first. So Blendtec is the company name, and then they have the k-tek division. The k-tek division is for the home division. So basically it's the same exact machine, whether it's Blendtec, k-tek, it's all the same. It was also called Champ HP3, then they came out with the Total Blender. Now the Champ, or the HP3A is the current model that you want to buy. Make sure you get the HP3A, that's the best model you're going to want to buy. So let's see, we'll first start off with the size. How about the size? So the size. So as you can see, this model is much shorter. So we got a tape measure here, and we're going to basically tape measure it up. And it's basically about, I don't know, roughly 15 1/4 tall. And if we go over to the Vitamix Turbo Blend here, wow, that tops out at like 20 1/2 inches tall. So this may be a concern for some because in a standard kitchen, your cabinet height is about 16 to 17 inches tall. So this one's going to easily fit underneath the cabinets, and this one is not. So, there's many different factors when selecting a blender. And let me tell you first off, either way you go, if you go with the Blendtec or if you go with the Vitamix, I need to tell you that you're going to have one of the most powerful blenders for home use on the planet in your kitchen, and they're going to both do a very, very, very similar job. So if you already have the Blendtec, and you're thinking about going with the Vitamix, you already have the Vitamix, and you're thinking about going with the Blendtec, you know what I'd say? I'd say save your money. If you have one, you're overall mostly happy with it, just stick with it. But if you're new and you're looking into it, definitely weigh all the factors that I'm going to talk about here in just a few minutes. So you're going to learn more about them. So the next question is, I had a lady who has arthritis or who can't lift heavy things, and she said, well, hey John, how much do the carafes weigh? And that's a good question because the standard Blendtec carafe is a 64-ounce carafe, and when it's empty it weighs about 1 pound, 1 ounce. So that's a little over a pound. So, she could handle that, a little bit over a pound, but then if you go with the standard Vitamix carafe, that weighs about 1 pound, 14, 13 ounces. And so, that's almost 2 pounds. So we have a 1 pound carafe versus a 2 pound carafe. So, maybe one's heavier duty because it weighs more, maybe one's more lighter duty, but that's the difference in the weight. If that is a factor to you, I personally, don't mind either carafe. And while we're talking about carafes, let's talk about another thing, about the size of the carafe. So you saw that this one was a lot, shorter, and so, but they're both 64 ounces. So what that means is this is kind of short and fat. And this is square, so I like to get a spatula in here and be able to easily scoop things out. It also has basically a wingtip blade, so it's basically a two-prong blade, much like the old fashioned propellers on an airplane. That's what it kind of reminds me of. So things could actually drop down between the blade and then get hit with the blade. Whereas on the Vitamix, this carafe is more long, tall, and narrow. And it also has these flutes on here. So that makes getting out things out of this blender, even with the spatula, much more difficult. So especially when I'm blending up $11 a pound macadamia nuts with some orange juice, $11 a pound macadamia nut cream sauce in the bottom, and you're leaving a whole bunch and you're just going to wash that down the sink when you're cleaning. That's not fun to waste any extra things. So in that situation, I do like the Blendtec carafe more. One of the reasons why the Vitamix carafe weighs so much is it has this big, heavy metal nut on the bottom, and that adds to the weight, that adds to make it more solid and more stable. And as you can see here, this the Vitamix carafe has a force prong blade. So this thing can tend to float up on the top and spin around a lot and not get blended. So that's why Vitamix also includes with their blender a tamper. And so this tamper can be used when the Vitamix is on, provided you have the top securely in place. This tamper will only go down so far so you can't hit the blades, although I have had many friends, try to be smart and use it without the top, and don't do that because, you're going to get this plastic parts in your smoothie. You need to always have the top in place and use the tamper as such. Now the Blendtec, on the other hand, doesn't have a tamper, and in most cases things will get sucked down into the Blendtec when you're blending. So the two things we're going to blend up today are actually flax seeds. I really like to blend up flax seeds. It's a really great demonstration when testing a blender. So if you take your standard household blender, it just literally does not have enough power to take the flax seeds and grind them up literally into a flax powder. Now, if we're eating flax seeds, we definitely need to grind them up into a powder to get the best digestion, because most times the flax seeds are really hard, and even if you chew them really well, you're going to see them come out whole. And the flax seeds are very high in omega-3 fatty acids, and everybody needs to get more omega-3 fatty acids in their diet. So we have some brown flax seeds today. I also like to use the golden flax seeds. They taste a little bit better for me, the golden ones, but we have the brown ones today. So we're going to blend those up in just a second, show you how easily these two blenders will grind whole flax seeds into flax powder. Now, once you grind the flax seeds into the powder, you're going to want to use that immediately. So only make as much as that you will use in that day. And then, so don't grind up, pounds of flax seeds and have powder and save it. No, because once you grind open those flax seeds, it's going to start the oxidation process, and we want to eat the freshest quality fruit. Remember, fresh is bestest. So we're going to do that in just 1 second. But first, I want to go over some of the other differences with the blender. So the first thing is that the carafes on both blenders now come in a BPA free. So let's see, I have some of the older carafes here. So this is an older Blendtec carafe. So if you have the old style Blendtec or Champ carafe with these arches on the bottom, it's probably not the BPA free. In addition, in the olden days, the the Champ blender had a different top. So this top, it just kind of seats on one side. And if you have one of these or know about these, whenever you used to blend with these, you'd always have to put your hand on top, because what would happen is this top would blow off because there's no place for the air to escape. And I've had many a smoothies, the top blow off on this style top and get all over, and that's no fun. So then they came out with the gripper lid. And the gripper lid not only grips on the inside, but then it has a flap on the outside that grips it, and they also have a little hole spout to let all the extra air out. So that was a great improvement. But now all the blender tops are coming with this new gripper lid with this vent hole, and this basically just comes out, so now you could actually add things in while you're making a smoothie. I don't like this top as much because things end up splashing up in here and it gets a little bit messy. Actually, I prefer this lid, but unfortunately all the Blendtecs now come with this lid here. Oh, the other main difference is that on the Blendtec here, you can now get the 96 ounce carafe. And this is the standard 64 ounce carafe on the Blendtec. And the Vitamix only has the 2 size carafes. Actually, they have a 64 ounce, so that would be comparable. And they also have a brand new 32 ounce carafe, which is kind of nicer. I like that because it's a lot shorter and not as tall, and it's a little bit easier to get your, macadamia nut orange cream sauce that I make out of that, because it is smaller. So I actually tend to use that one a lot more at home, but that is a lot smaller. So if you're making big sizes, the 96 ounce carafe is nice. The other difference is that the 64 ounce carafe has a 3-inch wingspan blade, and the 96 ounce now has the 4-inch wingspan blade. And there has been some other people saying that, this new carafe oxidizes your food less. Now, I don't know if that's exactly the case, but here's the thing. The thing is that definitely the 96 ounce carafe, if you need to blend less or a shorter duration of time, because basically everything's getting pulled into the blender more effectively, then your food is oxidizing less because you're actually running it less. I don't know that the 96 ounce carafe in itself oxidizes your food less, and I would not tend to believe that at all. So let's go into some of the other differences. Basically, the Blendtec, this carafe, or the motor base, is a lot lighter than the Vitamix motor base, and this is actually a 3 peak horsepower. Also, you'll notice that it has a little LED display on here and a whole number of buttons. So this is a smart blender. It's actually computer controlled. There's a chip in there, and it tells you how many cycles, how much you've used the blender. It also has 10 speeds. The Vitamix over here has basically 2 speeds. This will basically turn itself on and turn itself off in the standard cycle is 50 seconds. So if you only ever run it 1 cycle, you will never heat up anything that you're blending in the Blendtec blender. The other thing is that it has these nice preset buttons, and there's 4 preset buttons you could program to do different speeds. So for example, if you hit button number 1, it could run at low speed for 10 seconds, then ramp up to high speed for another 20 seconds, then slow back down to the low speed. So you could cater it like, okay, number 1 is for my green smoothie every day. Button number 2 is when I make my macadamia nut cream sauce at night, and number 3 is maybe for when I make my coconut cream pudding and what have you. So it's kind of nice in that respect. It also has a pulse button which will momentarily pulse it. But the buttons I use the most actually are the speed buttons, which are here, higher and lower. I usually just hold down the speed button and to make it go as fast as possible, speed number 10. And if I blend things on speed number 10 for about 30, 40, 50 seconds at the most, it's quite done. Let's go ahead and move over here to the Vitamix here. Take a look. Now this Vitamix motor base, it's actually heavier, it's weighted, so it has a lot more heft to it. On a sheer motor strength power, definitely the Blendtec's more powerful. If you do look at the website discountjuicers.com, I have pictures of actually the motor windings, so the gear heads and guys into that kind of stuff could see actually the gear windings, and there's a lot more copper and it's a lot more stout of the actually motor inside. This is John Kohler with discountjuicers.com. Be sure to visit discountjuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.